Narito ang makabuluhan at siksik na talakayan. Ang programang may puso at kapupulutan ng aral. Ukol sa seguridad at kaligtasan. Umaksyon, maging alerto. Anghel, Guardia.
Blaze Records. Easy.
Isang masaya, mapayapa at ligtas na araw Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao.
Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo.
Binabati natin ang lahat ng mga Pinoy all over the world, mula sa Amerika, sa Europa,
ngumiti ka lang
UAE, Qatar,
lahat ng iyong
at
hirap
saka
at masakit ay merong sagot.
ating
Sa
kakwatihan,
madilim mong mundo
sundaluhan,
na nababalo,
kapulisan,
bubuksan ko yan at
sa public
bibigyan ko ng
safety,
liwanag.
peace and
Magtiwala
order,
ka
mga
lang
empleyado
at
ng
huwag kang
pamahalaan,
mapagyabang.
mga ordinaryong
Andito
manggagawa,
ako,
may
handa
kapansanan
kitang
ka man o
ipaglaban.
wala,
Kahit anong
ang
mangyari,
ating
di
mga
kita
kabataan
iiwan.
o ang ating
Huwag ka
mga
na malungkot,
tinatawag
andito
na
na ako.
millennial.
Pupunasan
Mula po
ko
sa
ang
amin
luha
dito
sa
sa
mga
programa
mata mo.
Anghel
Di
de
ka
la
na
Guardia,
magdurusa pagkat
programang
ako magsisilbi
para sa
sa'yo.
Guardiang Pilipino,
Anghel
karapatan
de la
ng mga
Guardia.
manggagawang
Huwag
tagaligtas
ka na malungkot,
at lahat ng
andito na
manggagawang
ako.
Pilipino ukol
Pupunasan
sa
ko ang luha sa
kaligtasan at
mga mata
kagandahan.
mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo.
The
Anghel de la
national
Guardia.
security community,
Hindi
whole of
ako si
government and whole of
Superman.
society
Ako'y
working
normal na
together
tao
Right.
lang. Handa makinig
para
at
ayusin
pwede mong
yung
sandalan.
intergenerational
Kaibigan
problem na yan.
kita,
Si
pero
Chairman
sa
mismo
kabilang
nagpunta
banda,
doon to
mahal
see
kita. Pero mahal
ginagawa
mo
ng
siya.
mga tropa
Di
natin
ako naghahangad
dato
na mahalin mo
check
rin
ng mga
ako.
drivers,
Pero sana
lalong-lalo
mapansin
na yung
mo
mga
ang
babiyahe na
pagsingil ko
malayo.
sa'yo. Kahit ang turing mo sa
Ako
akin
po ang
ay
inyong
isang
lingkod,
Anghel de la
Mike
Guardia.
Guardia,
Ayos lang
datuin,
basta alam kong
nagbabalita,
masaya ka.
naghahayag at
Huwag ka
naglilingkod
na
para sa
malungkot,
kaligtasan
andito
at
na
kapayapaan
ako.
ng
Pupunasan
bawat
ko ang luha sa
mamamayan.
mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo. Anghel de la Guardia. Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo. Anghel de la Guardia. Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo. Anghel de la Guardia. Huwag ka na malungkot, andito na ako. Pupunasan ko ang luha sa mga mata mo. Di ka na magdurusa pagkat ako magsisilbi sa'yo. Anghel de la Guardia.
Seguridad at kaligtasan ay responsibilidad ng bawat mamamayan. Mapasaan ka man, lakasan ang loob at magtiwala dahil lahat tayo ay may Anghel de la Guardia.
Hi, this is retired General Emiliano D. Templo. You are listening to the program of Mike the Twin, otherwise known as Anghel de la Guardia.
Ito po si Martin Aguda. Kayo po ay nakikinig sa Anghel de la Guardia ni Mike the Twin.
Kayo po ay nakikinig sa Anghel de la Guardia sa DWDB.
Kayo po ay nakikinig sa palatuntunan ni Mike de la Guardia Datuin sa DWDD Armed Forces Radio.
Hello, magandang araw po. Ako po si Congressman Mike Aglipay ng Diwa Party List. Ako po ay nag-imbita sa inyo na manood ng Anghel la Guardia sa DWDD tuwing Sabado mula alas 3 hanggang 5 ng hapon. Maraming salamat po.
Lahat na ngayon online. Online shopping, online meeting, online payment. Sa PhilHealth, narito na ang aming tugon sa inyong request para sa mas mabilis at pila-free payment para sa mga self-earning individuals. Sa pakikipagtulungan sa iPay MYEG Philippines Incorporated, inilulunsad ng PhilHealth ang pagbabayad ng contribution online. Paano ang pagbabayad? Mag-login sa www.philhealth.gov.ph. Piliin ang online services. I-click ang PhilHealth Member Portal at mag-create ng account. Hanapin ang Payment Management at mag-generate ng Statement of Premium Account. piliin ang paraan ng pagbabayad. Para sa debit o credit card, kumpletuhin ang lahat ng mga hinihinging detalye. Ibigay ang one-time PIN o OTP na ipinadala sa iyong mobile number. Para sa GCash, piliin ang mobile payment method at i-click ang GCash. Ibigay ang iyong GCash number. Ilagay ang GCash MPIN na ipinadala sa iyong mobile number. Isang confirmation receipt ang matatanggap para sa successful na pagbabayad. Sa PhilHealth, lubos naming hangad ang mas ligtas na pamilyang Pilipino. Magbayad na ng inyong contribution online. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon,
And we're live. Good evening, everyone. Sa masaya, mapayapa at ligtas na araw sa lahat ng ating mga taga-subaybay ng programa Anghel de la Guardia dito sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Dito sa La Guardia News Online FB page at sa DWDD 1134 kHz AM radio via at Katropa DWDD CRS VRTV. Ang programang ito ay hatid sa atin ng La Guardia News Tanod ng Malayang Pilipino. Binabati po natin ang lahat ng mga Pinoy all over the world mula sa Amerika, Europa, Middle East at sa lahat ng bahagi ng Asia. Binabati rin natin ang lahat ng ating mga kagwardiyahan kasundaluhan, kapulisan kaakibat sa public safety, peace and order, mga empleyado ng pamahalaan at mga pribadong kumpanya. Mga ordinaryong manggagawa may kapansanan man o wala, mga kababaihan at ang mga kabataan at ang kanilang mga pamilya at mga mahal sa buhay. Lalo ang lahat ng mga may kamag-anak na naiwan malayo sa kanilang pinagtatrabahuhan. Higit sa lahat ay ang ating sambayan ng Pilipino saan ka man dito sa Pilipinas at sa buong mundo. Mula po sa amin dito sa programang Anghel de la Guardia, ang programang para sa Guardiang Pilipino, karapatan ng mga manggagawang tagaligtas at lahat ng manggagawang Pilipino ukol sa kaligtasan at kahandaan. Ako po ang inyong lingkod, Mike LaGuardia, datuin po, nagbabalita, naghahayag at naglilingkod para sa kaligtasan at kapayapaan ng bawat mamamayan. Tayo ay nasa Psalm 101 and this is your unlocking or achieving your full leadership potential via our Psalm 101 verse 2 to 3. Inaayahan po natin ang lahat na sumubaybay, sumali sa usapan, magkomento, magbigay ng reaksyon at opinion sa pamamagitan ng pag-type dito sa ating comment space, sa ating FB page, here at La Guardia News Online FB page. I'll be joining in is my brother-in-law, Christopher Ward Jr. Straight from New Jersey. Okay? So, please, if you would like to join this program, just comment in your suggestions, opinions, and reactions at our comment space. And let's talk about your comments. Join us as we come together in finding ways to achieve our full leadership potential. Huwag niyo pong kalimutan i-like and share ang atin pong live broadcast ngayong gabi to your friends and friends timeline. Review us at Katropa DWDD CRS VRTV or at La Guardia News Online FB page if you've missed this live program. So, without further ado, please allow me to introduce my brother-in-law, Christopher Ward Jr. Hey, brother, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing very well. How are you, bro?
Doing good. No sense complaining anyway.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. No one's gonna listen, right? No one's really gonna listen.
Of course.
Good evening to everyone, and morning to the world, right? To the world.
So, together with Christopher Ward Jr., we'll be talking about Psalm 101 It goes verses 2 to 3. I will walk with integrity of heart within my house. Please remember that very first part because that is the meat of our program. I will not set before my eyes anything that is worthless. I hate the work of those who fall away, so it shall not cling to me. Brother, please pray for us so before we start our program, so we
Okay.
could be guided in the right path.
Sure. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to see another day and have another great conversation on Psalms. And we pray that um, anyone who is listening on live or on the replay, that again, it will touch their heart. It would challenge their mindset. It would encourage them to grow and see their self-worth and their self-love, as well as the love for the community that they serve. And so we give this to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So sometimes I forget to press that mute button. So, so Psalm 101, brother.
Yes.
Before we go to the meat of our program, would like to ask, how was your day? How was your week? Since the last time we broadcast, how's everything going on your end?
It's going pretty well. I can't complain. I can't complain. I do want to give my condolences to a childhood friend that went on in transition to see the Lord. To the DeFreitas family, if you're watching this right now, my love for you is miles and miles and miles around the world, and so that was a tough moment, very tough moment to have your friend from elementary school transition on so suddenly. But the beauty is, and the hope to see him again, not too soon, as we like to say, not too soon, but to be able to see him again. And yeah, besides that, it was a great week. Got to see my family. Made play. My son made the youngest made Play-Doh, and that
Hmm.
was pretty interesting. And other than that, everything's good. How about you?
So far, again, as I was able to answer from your last question, it's no sense complaining. The reason that I look at it that way is
Mhm.
there are more people that has worse problems than I do. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I just want to thank God for what I have today
Mhm.
and what else is coming my way. And I just rather try to find the solutions to a day's problem or whatever comes my way for today.
Mhm.
For the past couple of days, I'm good. Again, it's no sense complaining. Whatever happened last time or the days past, better than today, or I would have a better day tomorrow. So I guess
Yeah,
that's how it is.
that's a good. I guess that's your attitude towards your circumstance, right?
Yeah, I would love to tell you that, hey, you're in the first world, I'm in the third world. There's so many things I want to complain about, but
Mhm.
I know there are more countries that are worse than us. There are worse situations rather than us. You know, uh, COVID-19 pandemic, man. I think I'm in a better. I mean, I'm blessed. I'm more blessed than others. I'm not really blessed like whoever, but um, I'd rather be humble enough to just accept that we're good, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and just not focus on the. It could be worse, as they say, it
It
could
could
be
be.
worse.
It could be. It could be. I agree.
So we have some friends, brother. We've been our program has been growing by the numbers, not well in live and in the followers that are watching our program in the replays. So I got a question. Rather, I received a question from a messenger question,
Okay.
and was asking if our program is a religious program, because we start with a verse. It's um it's a Bible verse. It's Psalm 101,
Hmm.
and they were like, how come you're not like pastors? Well, because we're not. This is not a pastoral program. This is
No.
a this is more of a realist program, but on a positive attitude, positive note, because it's achieving your leadership potential in today's society.
Yes.
Um, just like how we came across, how we were able to give our answers in how was your day, in that simple question. We were thankful, we were grateful, we were not looking at the negative aspect of it, but more of the positive aspect of it.
For sure.
We were more appreciative, humble, and grateful. And and I told him that, and you know what? I think you'd better listen to our program next Monday, next
Mm,
Friday, because
mm,
I think that is the topic of our program on Friday, the
mm,
attitude aspect.
for sure.
Um, what is attitude? How do you get that um um attitude in positive attitude in life when you're not a millionaire, you don't have that yacht, you don't have that mansion, you
Hmm.
don't have um you know uh riches, as they say, when they say he's successful, he's happy. How do you look at it when all of the things that are happening in your life, well, not all, but most of the time, you get duped by other people.
For sure.
Bad people gets to take advantage of you.
Hmm.
You don't seem to have a good relationship with someone looking at you differently, either race, color, creed, religion. And these are the day-to-day challenges in life when other people's attitude towards you are different, and your attitude towards them is different,
For sure.
and you don't get mad, you don't get to complain. That's why um um I think the right question would be, how do you have that attitude, that positive attitude, in the things you do? And this is what we talk about, and
Mhm.
tonight we'll be talking about that attitude. And as the verse said, we walk with integrity, and finding integrity means going through the challenges. Let me share, brother, this verse in Philippians 2
Okay.
tonight.
Sounds good.
Fulfill my joy by being like minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. I like that. Let each of you look out not only for his own interest, but also for the interests of others. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who, being in the form of God, did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, taking the form of a bondservant and coming in the likeness of men. Whew, that's the humblest part. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. Therefore, God also has highly exalted him and given him the name which is above every name. There there's a an experience that in the internet you get to watch so many things, YouTube, what have you. And I came across one of this with this um what do you call a Muslim preacher, an imam, a Muslim priest. I really don't know. And this guy is a Muslim leader in this YouTube page, and he was talking about Christianity and how Muslims are more Christian than Christian. And I just found it so interesting, yet uh, a little confusing because looking at it on that aspect, he was basing it actually one of the verses that this verse which I read was one of what he highlighted in doing things Christ like. But of course there were so many things that he said justified, and in comparison with his religion and what have you. But it's not what I'm trying to point at. I really don't want to delve into the religion aspect of it, but on the point where where he emphasized on the mutuality of where we can see eye to eye, wherein there's no religion, there's no comparison of religion and what have you, but we are all in agreement that we should walk through his example, the Christ like example. So I think that very verse speaks so many things. And I think it's a good example of attitude. What do you think, brother?
So that's really interesting, and I believe I've seen that video as well. And it's talking about the attitude, right? The attitude towards how you respond to people and how you carry yourself. And a lot of times, what we don't realize is that we can say we believe in one thing, but our actions and our behavior maybe contradicts it.
Right.
Right. And we can say, when we see that sometimes, even in the professional world, right, we may say this person's in a leadership position, but not actually showing leadership quality or leadership characteristics. It's talking about the attitude.
Right.
And we may say this, and that is the interesting part. It's like, wow, okay, this person can have a title or a position, but they don't actually embrace what the position is actually about. And so and so there's some confusion there of, are you who you say you are, or are you completely someone else? And that is where the confusion and discomfort can come from, as in trying to connect and build with someone within your community or your work environment. And those are my thoughts on that.
Oh, I think we have a friend who's watching right now, and it would be better if he joined us tonight. Um, I sent him a link, so he has to click on that link so he could join us tonight in our program and discuss things on the attitude level, because he's a professional. He's a professional in his field of profession, and he's one of the top guys. And it would be nice if we can get his perspective on how were you able to have that attitude to do the work that you have to put in on being who you are now. Well, he's now retired, but to be able to get to the work, and passed through entrance exam, passed through all of the trainings, and became a successful professional in his field. it, I think that that's the right thing. I mean, just like what you were saying a while ago, and it's kind of hard to do that. I mean, I have to ask. You have been you have been a church worker. You have been uh, what was that you went through again in the church that you had?
Could you repeat that for me? It kind of went out for a quick second. I
No,
was at church. I'm like church or whoa.
no, where did you? No, because I know for a fact that you had many experiences in life.
Mhm.
Life challenges. Because in attitude, sometimes it goes deep.
For sure.
Whoever you are now is an outcome of what you had gone through in life.
For sure.
From your stage of age that where you are now, because we can't pretend that we know how a 50-year-old 60-year-old guy thinks, because we're not there yet, I mean, we don't share the wisdom that people that went ahead of us
Hmm.
have. Oh, well, that age, I mean, age wise. So from what you have gone through, how were you able to find or gain back the right attitude?
That's a really interesting question, and it's something that I think I continue to navigate through the different stages of my life. And someone shared with me a long time ago that wisdom is always better than knowledge. Wisdom
I
will
agree.
always be better than knowledge.
I agree.
And I didn't get it at first, right? I'm like, well, they always tell us that the most powerful thing you can get is knowledge. Um, and he would say, it's applied knowledge, not just knowledge, it's applied knowledge, right? But would you rather be the most knowledgeable person in the world, or would you rather have the most wisdom in the world so that you can make the right decision at the right time for the right circumstance?
It's a good that's a good opinion. Then that's a good stand from our point of understanding. And I share with you that thought. Maybe we could invite someone with a more how do you say this? More wisdom, more one of the guys that have gone through and
Hmm.
been there, done that kind of thing. Let's invite um, Dr. Steve Cutler.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Dr. Steve. Yes.
I'd like to introduce to everyone Dr. Steve Cutler, former FBI, and now spending his time in our country of origin. Dr. Steve Cutler, welcome to the program.
It's great to be here, Chris. It's very good to see you again. Mike, love you, buddy. It's very, very good to see you. The only problem with being an electronic like this is, I can't give you hugs and so
Yeah,
on. So, which is
that's
what I really would like to do. So, virtual hug to everybody there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Dr.
So,
Steve.
excellent, excellent. Well, it was unfortunate, Chris, and I apologize. I was able to listen to you, and Mike, um, I was able to listen to you and watch, but I hit the wrong link, and so I was on the watch side and not the talk side. So,
I'm
Ah,
sorry about that,
so
buddy.
yeah,
I sent you the wrong one. That
you told me everything. It was just I hit the wrong. I hit the wrong link. So it was,
we're glad that you're here. We were very,
yeah,
very
yeah.
honored that you're here,
very good.
honestly.
Thank you. Thanks. Very good to see you.
Okay. We were talking about the program. Just to give you a short overview, the program is about Psalm 101. It talks about
Mhm.
integrity and whatnot, and how to live by it. And we go through five letters. That is the letters of Psalm. That is professionalism, service, attitude, leadership, and management. For the past couple of episodes, we've been talking about professionalism, service. Now we are at the attitude side. And I know that everything goes hand in hand. And, we've been racking our brain in trying to figure out, hmm, how were we able to do that again? And how were we able to get from there to who we are now and what we are now? Maybe it would help us a lot and help our audience a lot if you could help us out on this aspect, buddy. I know that you've been um, in the professional world of FBI. You know, it wasn't always FBI. It wasn't always that. How were you able to get from there to retiring or and going through your years in the FBI and doing so many things, which is mainly so hard for others to think of, because you know, it's a different realm and it's a very challenging realm, and moving back to society in civilian world. Maybe so many people would like to hear from your life experience, if that's okay with you, buddy. Help us out.
But you know, I'll give it a try and see what we can come up with. But one of the things that I noticed with this Psalm 101, and I was using the new international version. I think you had a different version that you tried earlier. But in the international version, new international version, they talk about being careful to lead a blameless life, conduct the affairs of my heart with a blameless, the affairs of my house with a blameless heart, and so on. And I will not look with approval on anything that is vile. Having been in law enforcement and the FBI for 30 years, I got to tell you, that was tough. That was very, very tough to do that. And now that I'm in business, it's not just in the Philippines, it's everywhere you go. There is corruption, there is, there's payoffs, there's people cutting corners, trying to slice a little bit off of a contract that they agreed to. Kickbacks, even within private industry, people getting kickbacks and so on. It's really, really tough. Chris, when you mentioned a few minutes ago about wisdom, more powerful than knowledge, but within the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, knowledge is one of those. Wisdom is too. And I would suggest that wisdom is built on knowledge. So one of the things that I've had a really tough time with is this idea of looking on things that are vile, because it's so easy. I can see where when you're standing on the edge of the precipice or on the edge of a steep hill, you think you're going to take one step and you're not going to go over the edge. Well, yeah, you take one step, but now you're a little bit lower on the hill. Take another step. Now you're a little bit lower on the hill because the hillside it's built out of pebbles, and so you kind of slide down a little bit. And you never really see where you're going. This knowledge of where you're going and what you're intending to do, in my view, leads to wisdom. And one of the things that I'll offer also is one of the reasons why I hang around with guys like you both, and then there's a select group of others, and that is that we're far from being the 12 apostles. However, Jesus needed a support group, and those were the apostles, like-minded people. Because while we have recorded the names of the men who were involved, we know that also women are recorded as having been involved and offered much strength and support. And oddly enough, financial support in many ways to Jesus that we often don't think about. They were rich. Some of the women friends were very rich, and they helped to support him. So building a community around myself, when I was with the FBI, no human organization is perfect, and the FBI is certainly got its, it has its detractors, B, it has its own faults. Every organization does. But being around very, very high performers who were focused on doing the right thing, and that's where this, the reading that you've chosen this evening, I think when I look on vile things, I've got to have people around me that can give me good things to look at, that help me to know good things, not get sucked in, not make those steps down the hillside that will end up with me going over the edge one of these days. And I got to tell you, it's very, very tough. And then you throw in COVID and the stresses that has. We have, Chris, you mentioned earlier, a good friend had passed away. I don't know whether that was COVID related or not, but these issues of you see people dying and there's nothing you can do, and we're told that we're going to die and there's really nothing we can do. Well, that didn't happen to the extent that people said it was going to, even in the United States. So anyway, that's just some thoughts that come to mind right now. I don't know how well they answered your request, but I think I've run my mouth quite a bit here right now. So, Mike, I'll turn it back over to you, and Chris. I'll chime in from time to time, but I think I've kind of caught up with you as far as the number of words.
It's actually great because it gave more clarity. Chris?
I wanted you to keep going. I think, yeah, Dr. Steve, you were, I think there were so many points that you were hitting, from even the image of, sliding down the hill, getting lower and lower. I believe some of us feel that way sometimes, right? We want to make the right steps in the right direction. And as you said, sometimes you need to have the knowledge first to where you're going, so that you can have that wisdom. And so if you could speak a little bit more to someone right now that might be going through a transition, because as you know, through transition, there's these highs and lows that people experience. So what would you say to people who are going through transition right now, possibly because of the pandemic or even through life change? What are some of the first steps that they should take so that they can start moving in the right direction and applying some of the knowledge that they've learned from their experience?
Well, I can tell you some of the things that I did, and maybe that'll help a little bit, because I have it's a big word, a propensity or a predilection to depression, and I get into some very, very dark places. As I like to say, that the dark dogs of despair are trying to grab my ankles a lot, and they're big dogs, and they bark very, very loud, and they're really quite disturbing. It takes a lot to fight them back. However, one of the things that I have been able to do is, for example, with Psalm 101, when you look at this verse 3, I will not look on with approval on anything that is vile. I hate what faithless people do. I will have no part in it. Then you continue on with verse 4, and I actually add that to illustrate what I've tried to do myself. The perverse of heart, these faithless people that we talk about, the vile things, the perverse of heart shall be far from me. I will have nothing to do with what is evil. So what I've had to do is recognize that I'm facing some very, very tough times, and Satan has a grip on my mind. It looks like the world is just a shambles, and my life is, and so on. And what I've had to do is to step back and say, no, I will have no part of that. One of the biggest things, and it was interesting to hear you guys talk about the imam and his comparison of Islam with Christianity. I think there are a lot of overlaps. They don't have the Christ as the draw. When I was in college, I did a study on Native American religions in the North America. And one of the things that I found is that their ideas of Great Spirit and the world, except for the missing part about the Christ figure drawing us up and leading us to salvation, many of the ideas that they had were the same. And I think Islam kind of fits into that as well. And Judaism, we needed the Christ figure, and I'll come back to that in just a couple of minutes. But what I need, and this is the really, really tough part, and this is one of the reasons why I have a hard time with some of the established religions. In our prayers, we call on God to do things. And I think that's Yeah, I mean, I'd like for him to do this, I'd like for him to do that. But the real issue is me making a choice. I say, Lord, come down onto my heart and do this. And I always try to add to that, Lord, help me to prepare my body, mind, and spirit to receive you, because I know you are always with me. I know you are here, and you will help me to reject the vile. You will help me to be what you want me to be, but I have to choose that. I am the um, prodigal son. I am the runaway son, and I have to choose to come back to my father. And that's the hard part for me, is because when Satan tries to tempt me and tells me you're a failure, you can't do anything right, your life is screwed up, people are dying around you. And when I was with the FBI, you see the worst of people. They've committed $1 million frauds. They were put in positions of power, and they used them for frauds. And they used them to hurt people. Massive, massive pain and suffering. And you say, why is that? And why can't I have some of the riches? They live in nice houses. They drive nice cars. And, they've got people around them who do all sorts of things. You look at like the Jeffrey Epsteins and the Weinsteins and so on. Why can't I have that life? Well, it's because I choose to live my life according to the right way. And those riches, that's where the riches are. And I have to make a choice to do riches for eternity and try to make good. Let me add kind of a parenthetical here if I can. So I'll kind of go along this path and then kind of step over and then I'll come back to it. I've also come to realize over time, and this, Chris, is where you were talking about the wisdom. I've known these things for a long time, but it wasn't until I opened my mind and my heart to it. From the earliest ages, I can remember being taught this in second and third grade. We as humans are created in the image and likeness of God. Literally, when I started seeing this light, it was, oh my God. And I don't mind saying it in those words. Think about that. If you're created in the image and likeness of God, you are created in the image and likeness of the creator of the universe. Wow. What kind of power does that give you? We were created just below the angels. And so when I sit back, I take a day off every once in a while, but when I sit back and want to do nothing for days at a time, that's not what I'm called to do. I am called to create, because I am created in the image and likeness of the creator of the universe. I have the responsibility to create, to provide for my family and for my friends, like working with you tonight, Mike. You asked for, Chris and I to join you to help you on this. Part of our providing for the world with our gifts is to participate in this program and to reach out to other people. And from that, then, because I listened to Chris, I listened to you, Mike, I'm growing myself. You guys are providing for me, and hopefully we're providing for hundreds, if not thousands of people globally. You talked earlier about people in Europe, Middle East, Africa, North America listening to you. Hopefully we'll reach out to them as well. But this idea of the power, I can't afford to have any vile thing interrupt that power of the universe that's been put into me. When I look around my home, I could knock on this wall behind me. It's concrete. Imagine the atoms that make up that wall are solid. I can't walk through that wall.
Right.
The atoms that make up my skin or make up my arm is leaning on a wooden desk. They're the vast majority of them are empty. They're just air. There's electrons flying around the nucleus. It's air, or it's empty. And yet, everything around us is here for our use. Whether I have striped paper behind me, I can't tell, Chris, is that that's either a microwave behind you there to your right, or your server. I'm not. But
I wish it was a microwave so I could just
pop it. Put a burrito in there and have a burrito while you're talking. But imagine the power of that, and that's one of the things that keeps me on edge. And then I mentioned this before. Mike, I know you know the New York Yankees, and Chris, I don't know whether you follow the New York Yankees or not, but you know of them, or the Chicago Bulls when Michael Jordan was there. Why were they so cool?
I love that better.
Yeah, there you go.
As a Knicks fan, I don't like that. I don't like that one. I don't like that one.
We'll go with the Golden State Warriors a couple years ago, Steph Curry, when they took the world championship. But what made them so good? Well, it wasn't just Michael Jordan. He was a spark plug. But without Scottie Pippen and 2 or 3 other guys, that team would have been nothing. And you look at a guy, Dennis Rodman. Mm-hmm. Dennis Rodman was another great player, but he was a great player. Michael Jordan was a team player. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan was a great guy that went with the team. And that team did well as long as Michael Jordan was sparking it. I remember reading the autobiography of Rodman, and he massive insight into him. He said at one point when he was playing for, I think, the Mavericks, got finished with the game and went out into the parking lot and just sat in his truck. Mm. He showered up, did his thing with the press, and then went out and sat in his truck. And I thought, I can't even imagine that. You played basketball with your team and you're not hanging with them. You're not, you're sitting by yourself in a truck. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to be like that. I want to be, it'd be nice to have the talent of Michael Jordan, but I want to be part of a team because those guys lift me up to be what I can be and lift me up to be better than what I would be without them. So that's where the New York Yankees come in when they're not using steroids and when they're, sorry, I have to take a little shot there. But the point is, they're still a team. And what sets them apart from the last place team is the fact that they work together as a team and they lift each other up. When you're a New York Yankee, you've made it. Sure. When you're a Atlanta Brave, yeah, you're a professional baseball player and you're pretty good, but you're not a Yankee. Mm. So what Psalm 101 does is tell me that, yes, I need to look down on the vial, but what I really need to do is the reason why I'm avoiding the vial and not approving of it is because I have to then turn away from that and approve of the great and conduct the affairs of my house with a blameless heart. That's my goal. I don't reach it very often, to be real blunt, but that's my goal. So that's where this, I will have no part in what faithless people do, and I'll push the perverse away from me. As attractive as and as what I might think of as attractive lifestyle, but it's not. And that's what I've got to make sure that I choose this, my body, mind, and spirit have to be blameless. So that's, again, I've rambled on quite a bit there and brought in a lot.
It's okay, buddy. It's actually 8 phrases. So there's a lot of things that we can talk about because what you've already just shared is on verses 1 to 3. There's verse 4, 5, 6, 7, and
Yeah.
8, which talks about many of the aspects of Psalm 101. And this is the reason why it's so important to talk about it on the perspective of others, such as you, some other good leaders that we have in our country that we all know that gives a sacrifice and not gives in or doesn't give in into those things that you just said, and which are also having some sort of hard time in fighting it, because it would seem that their environment doesn't accept them or refuse to accept them. Mom just shared something which I totally agree. Probably both of us, Chris and I, would agree. She said, "I totally agree with you, Steve, on the importance of having a community that surrounds you." And
Yeah.
It's critical.
technically, it's right, and that's very important.
If I can on that, as if I'm not going to just continue talking anyway, but
Go ahead, Dr. Steve.
yeah,
You're
go
good,
ahead.
man.
Yeah, whatever. We're not going to stop you. Yeah, you're going to get a shepherd to kind of virtually shepherd me off the screen. But
I knew the risk when I invited you. We knew the risk.
this idea of having a community that surrounds you, this is one of the things that in a democracy, it's very easy to criticize our leaders. It's very easy, whether that is, local leaders at the barangay level, city level, and at the national level. But one of the responsibilities of being a citizen or a participant in a democratic society is also to lift up those people, to make sure that we know, or excuse me, that they know we reward good behavior.
Right.
Quite frankly, this is one of the reasons, Chris. I know there's a lot of people in the United States that wish there was term limits. I don't. And one of the reasons for that is that when an elected official is doing what I want her to do, or doing what I want him to do, I want him to stay in office and continue doing what they're doing to support my town or wherever. And I don't want an arbitrary end to a guy that's doing good. That to me is like hiring an employee, and that employee knows that at the end of 3 years, you are legally required to fire him. Well, he's not going to bust anything to help out. So what we need to do, though, whether it's as parents with our children, yes, we need to correct them, but we also need to support them and laud correctly the right things that they do. Not make it up, not be glad handing them just for the sake of doing that, but make sure that they know that we appreciate and that we recognize the fact that they did the right things. In the animal world, we do that when we train dogs, when we train cats, when we train whales or sea lions or whatever we train. When they do the right thing, they get some kibbles. And we don't give kibbles to our mayor, but in a way we do. We give, hey, I really liked what you did there. And, we send them emails or we send them letters or whatever. We make sure that they know that we want them to do the right thing, not corruptly, not, vile, dirty things.
Right.
We want them to run their government in the right way. We want them people to run our businesses in the right way. So
that's phenomenal. You're speaking to the attitude part of what we were speaking on earlier, affirming great behavior, good behavior, but also going back to the beginning of knowing that we're all born with a moral compass, right?
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And that it is navigating those waters, not as being perfect, which is what you spoke of earlier, but as understanding where you are and where you want to go. and what that entails and what you may have to do to do so in community, but not alone.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's very, very important. If anyone is listening to this right now, if there's anything that you would want to accomplish in life, that sounds like a great ecosystem to put yourself in right now. You know, creating a foundation where you see the vision of where you want to go, who you want to become, and then allowing yourself to have what they would say, if you were a project manager, some of the stakeholders in the project of being you, right?
Yeah.
Some of the people who have a great stake in the game. So that is phenomenal. I truly appreciate you sharing it in that way, because I'm gonna, once I get off air, write some things down and reassess and recalibrate.
It's actually what the program is all about, buddy. Just like what the guy asked me. Are you religious program and you try to pastor on everyone? No, we're a program that wants to share our belief on how to steer the right path. We're just trying to live a day at a time, and trying to solve life on life's terms, but guided, not just a gung ho kind of type wherein there's so many resentments that are coming out of your heart and you can't see straight, because you're so full of hatred and anger towards all of the things, and which makes you weak, because it does make us weak whenever we envy other people. This guy has this, just like what Steve was saying. How come? Because it says there in Psalm verse 101 verse 3, I will not look with approval on anything that is vile, and we have to be reminded by that. I hate what faithless people do. I will have no part in it, and unless we don't take these things by heart and we're still trying to live life, um, pretending that we're good people, we might really, really have some problems in the future. Sorry to say, but we have to call a spade a spade. When you're really not walking it, you don't have to get everybody's approval. You don't have to go people pleasing everyone. But that's where everything is. Where the scripture works. It's when you try to walk the talk, and I think that's a good thing. Steve and Chris, someone wants to say hi. It says, Sunshine Oliveros, the tour, wants to say hi. Says, good evening, Steve, and good morning, Chris.
Yeah,
Thank
excellent.
you.
Excellent.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah,
And
Sunshine's good to see you. Sort of see you.
Mom says, Anna Marie, the twin, says, amazing testimony, Steve. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks.
There's 5 letters on this psalm, and there's 5 topics that we want to cover. I hope you'll be available from time to time, because we really enjoyed what we heard from you today, Steve. I'm sure our audience enjoyed it too, and many learned. Robert Nagar, Feli Real, and so many people who are going to be able to watch this and learn from you. Jen Palero, William Gallardo, Margaret Fontana, and not just here. My mom, I think my mom started to share this. So,
Excellent.
so we're
Well,
very
see,
grateful.
let me add this, and this is one of the things where I really am glad that you read off the names, because this isn't just three guys sitting around talking. And although, as much as I may like you guys, and I am uplifted by you guys, the fact that I got those comments, or we got those comments from the viewers, that's uplifting and will strengthen me to try to make sure that I'm doing that. Mike, you mentioned a couple of minutes ago that I walk the talk. Okay, it's easy for my mouth to say these things, but knowing that these people are out there, and I don't know when I'll ever encounter them, but I've got to be ready for them to come up if my quarantine ever ends, and I'm allowed out. But one of them may run into me on the street or in a shopping center or something and say,
Right.
hey, Steve, I do. And it's kind of like, you really? Oh, thanks. But so I've really got to make sure that I step up my game
Exactly.
so that I do walk the talk.
And
So this community, you guys are all supporting me. I mean, Chris and Mike, you are, but everybody that's a listener on this show is also supporting the three of us by your prayers, but just your spirits are with us, and that nothing can beat that. That's amazing.
So does that mean we get to invite you again? Like
Yeah,
many
because I know
times?
how to hit I know which link to hit now. So yeah, yeah, I won't be late next time.
Steve Cutler, thank you very much. It's
Yes,
an
thank
honor
you.
and privilege. Chris?
I'm honored. No, Dr. Steve, you impressed me when I first went. I mean, yeah, I don't even have words, to be honest. I love what you
I do
shared.
that a lot to people.
I love what you shared. There was a lot of knowledge and wisdom in everything that you were able to deliver today. I'm going to work on this microwave over here so I can get some burritos in there as well. But I would be honored. I would be honored to definitely have another conversation with you on here again, because I learned so much. Learned so much.
And I appreciate the opportunity to be with you guys, to be with all of your viewers and listeners. Just magnificent way to spend a Friday evening or Saturday morning, or no, I guess it's still your Friday morning, isn't it? So yeah, okay. So anyway, thanks a lot,
Brother,
guys.
your
It was
parting
very, very
message
good.
to everyone that listened, and your reminders, your share of wisdom, as so we say, before you leave us.
You want to wrap up? Is that what you said?
Yeah, your parting
Oh my
message,
gosh.
brother.
Okay. Well, what I have to remind myself constantly, it's about Christ and the triune God. But my choice is where I've got to continue to work on. That's where the battle is for me, is my mind, my spirit, soul, and everything. I've got to make a choice to overlook the vile. I've got to make a choice of not approving of what these people do. And it's my responsibility. And if each one of us as individuals take on that responsibility, we will change the world and make it a better place. But when we approve, or even just we don't disapprove, then Satan wins. So I've got to make sure that my heart is in the right place, my mind is in the right place. And that's where I really appreciate being with you guys this evening, because that's really bolstered me and strengthened me. So thanks to you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. You stay safe, and God bless you. How come
And
your
to you guys.
quarantine's not ending?
How come what?
How come your quarantine hasn't ended yet?
I'm 66, so they've locked the old people away.
Oh man, let them know you are ready, man. You're ready.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't know that. I thought he was like 50 or something.
No. Yeah. I think Mayora is sitting outside my condo with her machine gun nest or something. If I step out, so and there I go.
Mayora. You take care, buddy. We
All
love
right,
you.
guys.
Take care.
We'll see you again
Stay
soon.
safe,
And
stay
thanks,
healthy,
guys.
brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's Steve Cutler. It's a
Love it.
gentlemen and ladies, to all the viewers and listeners out there. It's one great episode, buddy.
Definitely.
That's why we need to keep on inviting everyone, the good leaders, so we can hear the good stuff.
For sure. I agree. I'm still just thinking about some of the stuff he was talking about. And for those who are leaders out there that have a voice, because everyone has a voice, Think about what you believe in and how you approach. You were able to see Dr. Steve's attitude towards
See?
professionalism,
Exactly.
towards character building, leadership, right? All the things that we hold dear to our heart. And the one thing he said that we talked about in the first episode, which was the importance of the community, right? The
No,
importance of the
that
community.
part I love. That's the part I really really love. And um uh mom said importance of having a community that surrounds you, and actually that's what we're trying to build. Whoever's listening, whoever's joining us, whoever has the time to just sit back and listen and watch this program, you're already part of the community because you're getting the insight, you're getting the good stuff, man.
For sure.
So yeah,
We
Steve.
appreciate it.
Steve just said something. Said, "Thanks for a great time. I'm strengthened and empowered. Thanks for your work. You're making the world a much better place.
Wow.
Trying, brother, a day at a time, an episode at a time." And you know I just wanted to share that I feel the same way uh when before I decided to get this program up. When he said that it's when others starts to listen and starts to know and recognize that's where the challenge is, because I'm really afraid that with whatever goes into the program, there will be people, places, events, or situations that will remind me of, did you just say that?
Hmm.
My wife often tells me that you have to be careful because you just said that you have to do this and you preach it. You have to do it.
You have to live it.
You have to do it. You have to live it. And you can't just keep on saying whatever the nice words should be. You also have to live it and do it. It's a battle. It's that constant battle that we do every day and try to keep ourselves at check, at bay, and just catch yourself right before you do it, or right at the time that it's gonna lead you to that. So this
Okay.
program is keeping us in check, brother. As always, our program is only an hour. I
Yes.
wanted it to be 2 hours, but I can't. I can't take up too much of. Someone will get mad at me, and
Well,
I understand.
mhm.
We understand. Anyway, thank you, brother. Mom said, thanks. That's what being in a family is all about. We're accountable to each other. Definitely,
for
champion.
for sure, for sure. I agree.
Central. I agree. Chris, your parting message as we close.
Yes, as always, I want to say hello and thank you to all that are watching right now. I can't see all the names, but thank you, Mary, Atifele, of course, Kuya Robert, Mom, Ate Sunshine, Dr. Steve, of course, you, Brother Mike, and everyone that is watching this across the world. We appreciate you so much. I appreciate you. I love to connect after the show. I love to connect and answer questions. So please follow me on all social media platforms, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at Chris Ward Jr. I answer my DMs. I do. And and I want to thank you, Mike, for always allowing new energy, new opportunities to educate and provide service for those that you care about, especially the community that you serve today. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Pleasure and honor, brother. As always, I'm not gonna read my whole 9 yards greetings and closing because it's kind of thinking of adding what Steve just shared with us as new perspective. We'll be doing some changes as we move to the next program, and it's growth. This is achieving your leadership potential in today's society by listening to people having a community, and we're starting to build that. Thank you, and in partnership with my brother here, Chris Ward Jr. And well, might as well bring the whole family in. My mom, my
Mhm.
brother, my sisters, and literally my sisters and my brother. Uh, we're more than glad to share this to everyone who's listening out there and who's um, uh, having you know that wisdom. Allow me to share this with you as a parting message. One cannot have wisdom without living life. By Dorothy McCall. Living life means responding wholly to our joys and our pitfalls. It means not avoiding the experiences or activities that we fear we can't handle. Only through our survival of them do we come to know who we really are. We come to understand the strength available to us at every moment, and that is wisdom. When we approach life tentatively, we reap only a portion of its gifts. It's like watching a movie in black and white that's supposed to be in technicolor. Our lives are in color, but we must have courage to let the colors emerge, to feel them, absorb them, be changed by them. Within our depths, we find our true selves. The complexities of life teach us wisdom, and become wise eases the many pitfalls in our path. Living life is more than just being alive. I can choose to jump in with both feet. Wisdom awaits me in the depths.
Hmm.
The verse that we are moving through are the verses that Steve said we will go through. And that is on Psalm 101, 2, 3. I will be careful to lead a blameless life. When will you come to me? I will conduct the affairs of my house with a blameless heart. I will not look with approval on anything that is vile. I hate what faithless people do. I will have I will have no part on it. With that, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, that ends our 1 hour program. Thank you for listening in and joining us in this episode of Psalm 101, Achieving Your Leadership Potential. Thank you very much to some of our friends, Police Director General Edgar Aglipay, of course, to my mom, Anna Marie the Tuwin, Erlinda Granados the Tuwin, Steve Cutler, thank you, and to our future, of course, to Chris Ward Jr., thank you to my sister Grace Ward Jr.,
I knew that was
to
coming.
some of our relatives, of course, Marjorie, Christine, Michelle, and to his husband Jericho, and to everyone. Thank you very much for joining in and listening in our episode tonight. Tulad po ng lahat ng kwentuhan o usapan, may umpisa at may katapusan. Naway marami po tayong napulot na aral at magagandang halimbawa at storya na magsisilbing handang gabay sa atin sa lahat ng hamon sa buhay. Pag tama ang kalaman, tiyak ang kaligtasan at kapayapaan ng bawat mamamayan. Ito po ang inyong lingkod, together with Chris Ward Jr., nagpapaalam at nag-aayaya na sa susunod na broadcast po natin muli mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng gabi dito pa rin sa La Guardia News Online FB page at sa parehong himpilan ng DWDD 1134 kHz Armed Forces Radio AM band every Saturday's replay from 3 to 5 p.m. at social media accounts Mike LaGuardia the Tuwin, Anghel de la Guardia, and LaGuardia News. And don't forget to hit up my brother here, Chris Ward Jr. Mike LaGuardia Datuin po nagsasabi at nagpapaalala sa ating lahat na ang seguridad at kaligtasan ay responsibilidad ng bawat mamamayan. Mapasaan ka man, lakasan ng loob, dahil lahat tayo ay may Anghel de la Guardia. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you.